Attention, cannabis owners, investors, and commercial cultivators across America. This message is specifically for you. You see, we're looking for 17 special commercial cultivation facilities over the next 30 days that want to earn an additional six-figure income by becoming a national strategic partner with Advanced Nutrients. Now, before we get into what this is all about, I want to have a very serious talk with you about our economy and how it's going to impact our industry over the next 3 years. But first, let's go all the way back to 1929, which was the start of the Great Depression. Now here's the kicker. Back in 1929, the public thought they were in a recession. And only when history looked back upon 1929 did they realize it was the start of the Great Depression. My view is that when history looks back upon this time, we will say, and I hate to say this, but numbers reveal the truth, that 2024 was the start of a depression. Here's why. Right now, our GDP growth is a paltry 1.3%, which is being propped up by the industrial military complex and government spending programs. Compounding our difficulties, inflation is now running at 3.2%. In a healthy economy, our GDP is greater than inflation. That means every single day, the buying power of our dollar is silently being stolen from us by our government. Our stock market is being held up by only two companies and one technology. That's right. Stock market is being propped up by two companies and one technology. The two companies are NVIDIA and Microsoft, and of course the technology is AI. Now, even more concerning, Warren Buffett is sitting on $186 billion of cash and refuses to deploy it into the market because the markets are currently overpriced. And one more important detail. There's something called an inverted yield curve in the bond market. Now let me explain. It's where short-term bonds are yielding a higher interest rate than long-term bonds. This is called an inversion, and it's very important to track. You see, in a healthy market, it's just the opposite. Long-term bonds yield more interest than short-term bonds. So, why is this important? Well, because it has been a highly accurate indicator of predicting recessions going all the way back to 1929. Now, in 1978, America was at the start of a very deep recession. And when I mean a deep recession, I want to give you some examples of just how deep it was. And the yield curve indicator was an alarming inverted for 17 months. Okay, 78, horrible recession. Currently, the inversion indicator is more than 20 months long and growing. The yield curve has been a highly accurate predictor of almost every recession since 1929. And just how bad was the recession that started in 1978? Well, I remember it because I was a young lad of 18 years old. In 1978 was the beginning of high interest rates. The interest rates at that time were 9.6%. And by 1981, interest rates had climbed to a staggering 16.6%. Additionally, one of the definitions of a depression is a global recession. Now, I don't know where all our politicians been hiding, probably somewhere under a rock. They haven't been out to the real world. But I'll tell you what, from my perspective, my friends and people that I've talked to out there, we've been in a recession for the last year and a half. The government just doesn't want to admit it. And here's the bottom line. Our political system right now is like a circus, an embarrassment to all the countries around the world. And unfortunately, it's not going to get any better in the next 2 to 3 years. In fact, you may even see 1 year of stock market growth before all hell breaks loose. So let me explain what happens. So the inversion curve cycle ends, and then the stock markets climb. And they've climbed, usually it's about 12 months, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. And then wham, the recession hits, market drops. Now, here's a comforting fact. Advanced Nutrients has always survived and thrived over the last 25 years through several substantial economic downturns. And the good news is we're not going to be participating in this one either. We never did in the past, and we're not going to do it today. However, it's time for our community to start working closer together in more creative ways than we ever have before. And that's what this is all about. And as the old saying goes, there is safety in numbers. So here's what this offer is all about. Advanced Nutrients is looking for 17 commercial facilities to become strategic partners interested in an additional income stream by becoming one of our national Growroom Showrooms. I love that. Growroom Showrooms. It's got a good hook, got a little rhyme to it. This is a straightforward way to boost your income. And the best part is you don't have to carry any Advanced Nutrients product inventory. You just simply open up your doors and show them your grow rooms. You're not going to have to do any selling. You're not going to have to go out and hustle leads. Advanced Nutrients will do all the heavy lifting for you. It's as simple as that. Look, every owner, investor, or cultivator that we bring to your facility will be always greeted by one of our cultivation specialists who will show them your results. It's that easy. In return, you'll get a nice quarterly commission check for every sale that is made from showing your facility for the life of their business. And here's the best part. If you aren't using Advanced Nutrients currently, that's okay. Let's get you on one of our easy-to-use 50% off trial runs so you can see the results for yourself with your own eyes, because seeing is believing. And here's some interesting information about Advanced Nutrients that you're probably not aware of. Advanced Nutrients acquired Tesoro Genetics several years ago. Here's the thing about Tesoro. They are the world leader in gene editing and construct regrowth. Now that's another video some other time talking about that. More importantly, Tesoro has very deep ties with many universities around the world, and they have access to the best genetic companies in California and globally. And as our strategic partner, you will have access to the best genetics before the rest of the market, giving you a first mover advantage that no one else has. We all know how important those flavors are, those strains, and getting to the market first. We're going to guarantee that you get that, and they're going to be perfectly matched to Advanced Nutrients fertigation protocols. Plus, you'll have access to the brightest minds in cannabis science. You see, Advanced Nutrients and Medicinal Genomics teamed up and started Canmed 8 years ago with our first event at Harvard University. Since then, it has grown, and Canmed is where all the top cannabis scientists and researchers from all around the world meet every year. It is the Cannabis Science Brain Trust. You know, oddly enough, I've never seen one other nutrient company there. Let me repeat that. I have not seen any other nutrient companies there over the 8 years. I want you to think about that. It says a lot about who they are and who we are. Now, it also means that Advanced Nutrients has direct access to all of the brightest cannabis minds in the world. In fact, they're only a phone call away. And it gets better. You'll have access, direct access, 24/7 to our green team, which consists of some of the world's best large-scale cannabis cultivators in the world. Excuse me, they are the best at-scale world-class cultivators in the world. So here's what we're looking for. 17 world-class facilities that only want to grow the best flower in the world. You see, the top 30% of the marketplace, because that's what Advanced Nutrients products produce. The world's best cannabis. It's a known fact. The top 30% of flowers always command top dollar. And no matter which way the market swings, it'll guarantee you will always be at the top of the market and profitability. And here's the really important part. And I want you to think about this. Who buys premium cannabis? People with money. And during economic downturns, that is the safest harbor to be, at the top of the market. Now, let's do a quick recap on the last 3 videos you've seen. In the first video, we talked about total cost of ownership and Advanced Nutrients TCO, total cost of ownership, being so strong that if you tried any of our competitors or even mixed your own salts and you got absolutely everything for free, it still wouldn't be cheap enough. Here's why, and here's what our industry isn't doing that it must start. You must track the inputs to the end result. Whatever nutrient company you're currently using, and by the way, if you want, try them all so you can see the difference for yourself, especially if you're in management. You really, really need to understand this. And you have to tie back the results of your flower production to determine what the real value is, and you got to tie it back to your inputs. And here's how you do that: by checking your certificate of analysis and looking at the percentage of THC, total cannabinoids, and terpene percentages. All of those are indicators of quality. Then I want you to check your yield and the price per pound you received. So from your inputs, you are tracking the results and understanding what makes quality, what the yield is, and what you received for every pound, or if you're in Europe, kilo, that you've grown. Now, in the second video, we talk about risk reversal. And if we don't beat your current nutrient program, we're going to give you 10 times, 10x the money back you spent on your test trial run. Think about that. 10 times your money back. You see, here's the thing. I don't know, it's 15, 17 years ago. We put out a challenge to the entire nutrient industry worldwide. If you want to take us on head to head, It was called the $1 Million Challenge. And we lost, we'd give you $1 million. You put up your million, we put up our million. No one took us up at that time because they all understood they couldn't beat advanced nutrients. Well, today's day and age, we're willing to make a big, bold offer. And that is, on our trial runs, whatever you're doing, if you can beat advanced nutrients, we're going to give you 10 times your nutrient investment back on that trial run. I don't know any other company that stands behind their product as well as we do. You want to know why? Because they can't. 25 years of research. That's why. We understand that plant inside and out. Wait till you see our 8th generation nutrients. It is a totally different beast than anything you've ever seen before. And that's going to be coming out the first quarter of 2025. If you think we're an 800-pound gorilla, wait till you see 8th gen. It's something totally different than anything that we've used before. In the 3rd video, we talked about how salts have a ceiling, and to grow top quality buds, you must use biostimulants and biologicals. Look, folks, we've been researching cannabis for a very long time. We realized early on, in the early 2000s, that salts had a ceiling, that you had to come in with biostimulants and biologicals in every stage of that plant's development to get maximum genetic expression and full genetic potential of what you're using. And we've also showed you the brutal difference in COAs when it comes down to production of THC and total cannabinoid output as compared to Athena. Also, we've shown you in 3 videos very well-known commercial operators who've made a lot more money. In fact, millions of dollars more using advanced nutrients products. Each of the videos we've shown you will add more profits to your bottom line if you follow them, and hopefully take some of your stress away. So, if you're interested in becoming one of our national strategic partners, just hit the link below and one of our cultivation specialists will get back to you right away. I gotta say, we're having a great day here at Advanced Nutrients, and I hope you are too. Take care.